नमस्कार, आपके साथ मैं हूं सुषमा पांडे। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने यूएस कांग्रेस के सत्र को संबोधित किया। इस मौके पर उन्होंने भारत अमेरिका के मजबूत होते संबंधों और जरूरतों को बताया और साथ ही पाकिस्तान का नाम लिए बगैर आतंकवाद पर भी करारा प्रहार किया। क्या कुछ कहा पीएम मोदी ने, आइए आपको दिखाते हैं।
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and the distinct honor in presenting to you His Excellency Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of the Republic of India.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Vice President, distinguished members of the U.S. Congress, ladies and gentlemen, I'm deeply honored by the invitation to address this joint meeting of the U.S. Congress. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for opening the doors of this magnificent Capitol. This temple of democracy has encouraged and empowered other democracies the world over. It manifests the spirit of this great nation, which is, in Abraham Lincoln's words, was conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. In granting me this opportunity, you have honored the world's largest democracy and its 1.25 billion people. As a representative of world's largest democracy, it is indeed a privilege to speak to the leaders of its oldest. Mr. Speaker, 2 days ago, I began my visit by going to the Arlington National Cemetery, the final resting place of many brave soldiers of this great land. I honored their courage and sacrifice for the ideals of freedom and democracy. It was also the 72nd anniversary of the D-Day. On that day, thousands from this great country fought to protect the torch of liberty. They sacrificed their lives so that the world lives in freedom. I applaud, India applauds the great sacrifices of the men and women from the land of the free and the home of the brave in service of mankind. India knows what this means because our soldiers have fallen in distant battlefields for the same ideals. That is why the threads of freedom and liberty from a strong bond between our two democracies. Mr. Speaker, our nations may have been shaped by diverse histories, cultures, and faiths. Yet, our belief in democracy for our nations and liberty for our countrymen is common. The idea that all citizens are created equal is a central pillar of the American Constitution. Our founding fathers too shared the same belief and sought individual liberty for every citizen of India. There were many who doubted India when, as a newly independent nation, we repose our faith in democracy. Indeed, wagers were made on our future, but the people of India did not waver. Our founders created a modern nation with freedom, democracy, and equality at the essence of its soul. And in doing so, they assured that we continue to celebrate our age-old diversity. Today, across its individuals and institutions, in its villages and cities, in its streets and states, are anchored in equal respect for all faiths and in the melody of hundreds of its languages and dialects. India lives as one. India grows as one. India celebrates as one. Modern India is in its 70th year. For my government, the Constitution is its real holy book. And in that holy book, freedom of faith, speech, and franchise, and equality of all citizens, regardless of background, are enshrined as fundamental rights. $800 million of my countrymen may exercise the freedom of franchise once every 5 years. But all the 1.25 billion of our citizens have freedom from fear, a freedom they exercise every moment of their lives. Distinguished members, engagement between our two democracies has been visible in the manner in which our thinkers impacted one another and shaped the course of our societies. Thoreau's idea of civil disobedience influenced our political thoughts. And similarly, the call by the great sage of India, Swami Vivekananda, to embrace humanity was most famously delivered in Chicago. Gandhi's non-violence inspired the heroism of Martin Luther King. Today, a mere distance of 3 miles separates the Martin Luther King Memorial at Tidal Basin from the statue of Gandhi at Massachusetts Avenue. This proximity of their memorials in Washington mirrors the closeness of ideals and value they believe in. The genius of Dr. Bhim Rao, Babasaheb Ambedkar was nurtured in the years he spent at the Columbia University a century ago. The impact of US Constitution on him was reflected in his drafting of the Indian Constitution some 3 decades later.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India.
तो और भी बहुत सी खास बातें प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने यहां पर कही, वो भी आपको दिखाएंगे। तो ये भी दिखाएंगे कि यूएस कांग्रेस ने उन बातों का कैसे स्वागत किया। फिलहाल वक्त एक छोटे से ब्रेक का।
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India.
ब्रेक के बाद एक बार फिर से आप सभी का स्वागत है। तो यूएस कांग्रेस में मोदी का मैजिक चला, बहुत सी खास बातें कही पीएम मोदी ने, वो हम आपको सिलसिलेवार तरीके से दिखा रहे हैं। कुछ और अंश आपको दिखाते हैं।
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India.
No wonder then that President Obama has called our ties the defining partnership of the 21st century. Mr. Speaker, more than 15 years ago, Prime Minister Vajpayee stood here and gave a call to step out of the shadow of hesitation of the past. The pages of our friendship since then tell a remarkable story. Today, our relationship has overcome the hesitations of history. Comfort, candor, and convergence define our conversations. Through the cycle of elections and transitions of administration, the intensity of our engagements has only grown. And in this exciting journey, the US Congress has acted as its compass. You have helped us turn barriers into bridges of partnership. In the fall of 2008, when the Congress passed the India-US Civil Nuclear Cooperation Agreement, it changed the very colors of leaves of our relationship. We thank you for being there when the partnership needed you the most. You have also stood by us in times of sorrow. India will never forget the solidarity shown by the US Congress when terrorists from across our border attacked Mumbai in November of 2008. And for this, we are grateful. Mr. Speaker, I'm informed that the working of the US Congress is harmonious. I'm also told that you are well known for your bipartisanship. Well, you are not alone. Time and again, I have also witnessed a similar spirit in the Indian Parliament. Especially in upper house. So, as you can see, we have many shared practices. Mr. Speaker, as this country knows well, every journey has its pioneers. Very early on, they shaped our development partnership, even when our meeting ground was more limited. The genius of Norman Borlaug brought the Green Revolution and food security to my country. The excellence of American universities nurtured institutions of technology and management in India. And I could go on, but fast forward to the present. The embrace of our partnership extends to the totality of human endeavor. From the depths of the oceans to the vastness of the space. Our science and technology collaboration continues to help us in cracking the age-old problems in the fields of public health, education, food, and agriculture. Ties of commerce and investment are flourishing. We trade more with the US than with any other nation. And the flow of goods, services, and capital between us generates jobs in both our societies. As in trade, so in defense. India exercises with the United States more than we do with any other partner. Defense purchases have moved from almost zero to $10 billion in less than a decade. Our cooperation also secures our cities and citizens from terrorists and protects our critical infrastructure from cyber threats. Civil nuclear cooperation, as I told President Obama yesterday, is a reality.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India.
तो पीएम मोदी ने दुनिया को दोस्ती और सहयोग का संदेश दिया तो आतंकवाद को सख्त लहजे में चेतावनी भी दी। बहुत कुछ खास रहा इस संबोधन में, वो भी आपको दिखाएंगे, लेकिन वक्त एक और छोटे से ब्रेक का।
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India.
तो मोदी बोल रहे थे, तालियां बज रही थीं, कई बार स्टैंडिंग ओवेशन भी मिला, कई बार ठहाके भी सुनाई दिए। मोदी ने यहां पर मोदी होने का मतलब समझा दिया। कुछ और खास पल आपको दिखाते हैं।
The Prime Minister of the Republic of India.
Mr. Speaker, in every sector of India's forward march, I see the US as an indispensable partner. Many of you also believe that a stronger and prosperous India is in America's strategic interest. Let us work together to convert shared ideals into practical cooperation. There can be no doubt that in advancing this relationship, both nations stand to gain as the US businesses search for new areas of economic growth, markets for their goods, a pool of skilled resources, and a global location to produce and manufacture, India could be their ideal partner. India's strong economy and growth rate of 7.6% annum is creating new opportunities for our mutual prosperity. Transformative American technologies in India and growing investment by Indian companies in the United States both have a positive impact on the lives of our citizens. Today, for the global research and development centers, India is the destination of choice for the US companies. Looking eastward from India, across the Pacific, the innovation strength of our two countries comes together in California. Here, the innovative genius of America and India's intellectual creativity are working to shape new industries of the future. Mr. Speaker, the 21st century has brought with it great opportunities, but it has also come with its own set of challenges. While some parts of the world are islands of growing economic prosperity, others are mired in conflicts. In Asia, the absence of an agreed security architecture creates uncertainty. Threats of terror are expanding and new challenges are emerging in cyber and outer space. And global institutions conceived in 20th century seem unable to cope with new challenges or take on new responsibilities. In this world of multiple transitions and economic opportunities, growing uncertainties and political complexities, existing threats and new challenges, our engagement can make a difference by promoting cooperation, not dominance, connectivity, not isolation, inclusive, not exclusive mechanisms, respect for global commons, and above all, for international rules and norms. India is already assuming her responsibilities in securing the Indian Ocean region. A strong India-US partnership can anchor peace, prosperity, and stability from Asia to Africa and from Indian Ocean to the Pacific. It can also help ensure security of the sea lanes of commerce and freedom of navigation on seas. But the effectiveness of our cooperation would increase if international institutions frame with the mindset of the 20th century, where they reflect the realistic of today. Mr. Speaker, before arriving in Washington, D.C., I had visited Herat in western Afghanistan to inaugurate Afghan-India Friendship Dam built with Indian assistance. I was also there on the Christmas Day last year to dedicate to that proud nation, its parliament, a testimony to our democratic ties.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India.
तो यूएस कांग्रेस में प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का यह संबोधन कई मायने में खास रहा। न केवल भारतीयों और अमेरिका वालों की नजर इस पर थी, बल्कि समूचे विश्व की नजर इस पर थी। बहरहाल इसी के साथ हमारे इस खास बुलेटिन में इतना ही, लेकिन खबरों को तफसील से जानने के लिए आप लॉग इन कर सकते हैं प्रदेश18.com पर। फिलहाल के लिए नमस्कार।